So you changed on me.
Yep.
Jeff Coleman.
He has another appointment, so I moved him on.
Oh,
So we
I
can
see.
get him out of here.
He's
Yeah.
special then.
Thanks for letting me cut in line today. I won't do this all the time, but I had some field visits to go to. I'll be quick. First of all, our Peterborough Property Tax Assessment Board of Appeals. We currently have 2 members, and we need a third to replace me leaving. So I currently have 2 members, Marion Dalrymple, Bill Flum. One was appointed by the council, one by the commissioners, and one a Republican, one Democrat. And I'm in need of a third person. I've not been able to find anybody interested in becoming a level 3, but technically I can stand as a level 3 for the board and still pass muster. I had 2 people interested. I have not heard from, well, Dave Job approached me last fall. I have not heard from him. But Warren Taylor, he used to be a board member for several years. He's currently a real estate appraiser, and he's interested in coming back onto the board if you are willing to waive certification requirements for another level 3. His knowledge of real estate will definitely offset that. And I was going to ask if you would approve him today.
Comments? Questions?
He's right. Warren Taylor did serve on that board for quite some time
He
before,
did.
and he is willing to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you have to try to find someone with a level 3 certification.
Yeah.
And how many level 3s are available?
The state running short. So,
That's what I thought.
yeah.
I know Kathy Rhodes is a level 3, but I don't think she could do that job and be on the council either.
Yeah, that would be a conflict.
Right, yeah. I got no problem with Warren coming back on the board. I know you need a full board.
Yeah.
Will that fill a term, finish out a term, or is this a new?
This would be a new term.
New term.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, what are the terms on it?
The term is actually 1 year, but unless someone else is appointed, the term is continuous. So there's a little.
I'll move to approve
I'll second.
Been a motion made and seconded to approve the appointment of Warren to the Peterborough Board. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes.
Thank you. Next I have the position of reassessment clerk. The person we had hired in January, Tammy, her health will not let her continue. So I've had to go back through the rehiring process, and I'm asking you to approve the 144, I guess, for a new candidate. Her name was Leanne Canada. She's was born in this area. She's currently a resident of Connersville. She has skills that are varied. She's lots of office work. She's certified in Microsoft, which means 3 of the programs we use, she knows inside and out. So she would be a great asset to the office, and I would like permission to ask you to give her letter hiring for that position as reassessment clerk. It's a part-time position.
This is your vacant part-time position.
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve the 144 request for the assessor's office to fill the vacant part-time position.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the 144 request for Jeff. Is there any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes.
Thank you. And last, I was hoping to have more information for you, but I've not been able to contact our Avalorem Solutions, our vendor. We have an industrial appeal at the state level. The appeal goes back to 2017 and covers 2017, 2018. It's a very large amount of money that's being appealed right now. So I was hoping to give you more information, but I don't really have anything right now. But the appeal itself is next Thursday, and I'll let you know what happens. But It could be a reduction of anywhere from $300,000 to $500,000 less if they win. We can defend our numbers, but
In assessed value? Or?
in assessed value.
Okay.
Yeah. So it'd be the 3% cap, and I feel like we can defend our numbers well, but the Indiana Board of Tax Review has been doing some strange things lately, so it could go either way.
All right.
That's real. I just want to make you aware of that, but I don't have anything else really other than that, just to let you know what's going on. But I'll give you another report once we get through the process.
Thank you, Jeff.
That's really it. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Appreciate it. We have Michelle Dudley. Is she here? Yeah, there she is. With grant applications.
We need approval from the Board of Commissioners to submit our grant applications for the 2020-21 fund year, which would actually start July 1 of 2019. I'm not asking for any more money for community corrections or for jail treatment. I'm asking for the same amount from the state on both of those grants. It's $176,500 on jail treatment and $561,764 for community corrections. That's the grant portion, and then of course I have to submit my project income and CTP funds. For my total budget's $1,302,320.31 on community corrections. And then the advisory board met today and approved the grant applications for all 5 entities, and I'll let the others speak about theirs.
Thanks. I'm rise, of course, in support of my own portion of the grant application, which is for drug court. We did ask for, unlike some of the others, we have asked for considerably more money because the program has been very successful thus far, and we imagine that we're going to be beyond our cap of 30 participants per supervising staff member. We only have one staff member who's present today, of course, Mr. Burgess. And so that's a lot of it. We're asking for a whole nother person to be funded by the grant so that we could go from a cap of 30, which we're almost certain to exceed in the next fiscal year of the grant. So if we had a second person, then we could go to 60 because 30 participants per employee. So we're doubling up on that. And we've also put in money for $120,000 for subsidization of treatment through Meridian Healthcare Services for various treatments relative to the needs of rehabilitative therapies as well, which we didn't have nearly that much in there before, and a few other small things, but we're at, I think, was it 321? Is that where we were at? Total. Ours is up quite a bit. I should have had that handy. I didn't.
It should be this one.
Well, that's the old one, though,
Right there.
isn't it? 361,220, which is a lot more than we had last year. 2.5 times more, because we're adding a lot. A whole nother, we're doubling the size of the staff, hopefully, and also, hopefully, we'll get some funding to help subsidize the treatment costs, which are very high. The fees for the program, of course, it relies on fees. It's difficult for the participants to pay drug testing fees and program fees, and of course their community corrections supervision fees, and then also pay their treatment fees, all of this at once. So that, we think that's very important. Hopefully that'll be funded. So that's what we're doing there.
If we're doubling our staff, or if we're able to, are we able to house double the staff?
Well, we have, at one point, you remember when we started the program, we were locking off that area in front of the old courtroom cell back there. And if we get that lock put on so that you can't get to the back hallway from the public hallway, that can be used as a meeting room for attorneys. That vestibule area is the same size as those rooms anyway in the hall. And then the room that used to house the election equipment, which is right next door to the current drug court coordinator's office, could be used as the case manager, which would be the second employee of the drug court program, be right next door to the director of the program. That would be my hope. There would still be a place for the attorneys to meet, plus the other one that's farther down the hall towards Circuit. There's another little room there, so there would still be two places for the attorneys to step out of the public view and meet with their counsel. The counsel and the clients, of course, which it is important that they have a place to do that. It definitely greases the system to be able to privately and quickly step out of public view in private and speak with your attorney. So I wouldn't want to diminish that. There should be sufficient space still if we use that spot. So I think the simple answer to your question is yes, I think we can use that other room. It's now empty. We put a table in there so that it could be used now for that same purpose I was just describing. But as I said, they can move over and use the one, that area that's outside of what was the old cell.
Okay.
Right. I have one, I'd like to revisit on a somewhat separate issue, but also a grant-related issue as soon as we get done with this part. I don't want to hold these guys up.
Hello. Probation's asking for, I believe, the total was $167,700. What that money will go towards is $35,000 towards salaries for our current 2 grant-funded probation officers. It also pays the $25,000 salary of our administrative assistant. The only additional thing I've asked for out of the grant in this cycle is for $1,000 to put towards incentives. We've had no money for our incentive program up until, well, still currently. So that's all I got.
You guys know me, I think, but I'm here for the prosecutor's diversion grant. It's basically the same as last year, except last year we didn't get perf money. So we're asking for $4,000 more for perf money. And also, again, we'll be asking $5,000 for a drug testing license. But besides that, it's the same as
What's
last
the
year.
total of the whole thing?
My calculation right now is $46,750. So last year would have been $4,000 less than that.
Couldn't ask for no more. Every little bit
I
helps.
can ask for more, and put double or triple, whatever you want. No, $46,750 is what we're asking for.
Orland?
Yes.
If you don't mind, on the probation?
Yes.
The 2 salaries?
Yes.
Does that include the fringes and everything?
Well, it does pay their fringe up to the $35,000 mark,
Right.
yes.
Okay.
I move to approve all the grant submissions.
I'll second it. And I hope you all will get what you're asking for.
We do
Because
too.
I don't know if you have a plan B. If you don't,
Plan B's asking for more.
yeah, if you don't have a plan, if you're not fully funded on these grant requests, I don't know what we'll do.
Well, they're all very valuable programs, so we're hoping
Yeah.
for the best. I think the political will is still there in Indianapolis. Despite the bureaucracy, the political will there is to fund. So I think I will be very surprised if we don't at least do as well as we did last year. We may not get everything we've asked for on our Christmas list here, especially since I've been particularly greedy among the applicants and more than doubled my request. But I don't see it, and there's no way to know, but I don't see a cut. I think I would put a really high probability on us getting at least the funding that we got last year. I really do. How much of the extra that we've asked for, how much of that excessive amount from comparison last year, I don't know. But I find it very unlikely, considering the political climate, that it will be cut from our current funding base. That I don't think that's going to happen. I don't.
Judge, if they give you some of your increase, but not all of it, is a part-time coordinator acceptable? I mean, usable, or
It could be done. It could be done. Yeah.
as your caseloads?
Yeah. So if we
grow.
get to 45, we could have a halftime. You know, that might be something that we have to do if we have a bailout position if we get in a jam like that. I'd really rather not do that.
Well, I understand.
Obviously, but yeah, it's better than nothing, because otherwise, if we don't get a second person at all, part-time or full-time second person, when we get to 30,
You're locked.
we're done, and we can't add a new person until someone graduates or gets kicked out.
Yeah.
You know, so you might have very worthy candidates needing to come into the program who are just sitting around cooling their heels, who otherwise could be being rehabilitated, who are just waiting for no good reason
Right.
to be administered some help. So we don't want that. We made that point clear in the narrative explanations of why we've asked for this money that go along with the actual numbers request. I think it's been made quite clear in those narratives why we're doing this. And, I'm pretty confident we're going to get.
Are there any requirements as far as judges?
Yeah, I have all kind of training I had to take.
No, I mean as far as number of participants per judge.
No, my
So-
only requirement is, you know, what my blood pressure rate goes to.
Yeah.
There's a limit on that because I'll pass out at some point, but
Sure, but I
No.
didn't know whether all the stipulations were just the coordinators
no,
on numbers.
I guess they trust judges to govern themselves on what they think they can handle. So if you see me laying dead in the hall, then you know I exceeded my maximum.
Or made someone mad.
But until then, I guess I'll just keep going.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Will your drug court program go through routine evaluations like community?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, we're due for one right away.
Okay.
In
So-
fact, we put it off just a little bit because Mr. Burgess just started, and the reviewing authority thought it was a little bit unfair to do our major certification. We had a pre-certification for the first 6 months of operation. If you may recall, I don't know if you do or not, when I first started the program, they let you operate under what you might consider as a conditional license for a period of 6 months, and then at the end of that 6-month period, they come and do a hard audit, and if you pass that, then you get a 3-year license. Okay, so that's coming up right now. But we've been in contact with the authority on that, and she has even suggested, we didn't request it, but she has suggested that she thought it was maybe even unfair with Mr. Burgess having just begun, unfair to subject himself to that kind of scrutiny when he's just started. We're meeting with her shortly about the ins and outs of that, and also an annual report that's due soon as well, which is also quite a lot to ask of a new coordinator. So we're going to work all that out. We're in constant communication with them. There's no problems. In fact, I think they've been pretty accommodating about maybe delaying that for a few weeks or months, just to make sure that we're in good shape, because they want us to pass that. I mean, obviously they want us to pass the 3-year certification audit. So they're not wanting to come down here and catch a guy who's been working 2 weeks, on the outs, on knowing what's going on.
I would think that if you get really good scores on your evaluation, like Michelle has done in the past, the more likely you are to be able to get additional funding. So,
Well, I agree. So we want to do have an excellent rating when we come out the other end of that, and I think they want us to as well. And that's why they have even suggested that maybe we should pad our time before we do that hard audit, just to make sure that everything's dotted I's and crossed T's. So we're going to take care of it. Brandon and I have been speaking about this 2 or 3 times a day for 2 weeks now. So it's been a bit of an issue with our original coordinator resigning right before the audit was to have occurred. It just, timing wasn't the best, to say the least, but we're dealing with it. It's not a crisis. They're not pushing us to go ahead and do it anyway, even though we maybe not ready because of the staffing change. We're on top of it. Everything's going to be fine, but it may be delayed just a little bit, just to make sure that we are ready to go. We're taking care of it. Yeah.
Motion made and seconded. Is there any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. I took care of that.
Good luck on your things.
Thanks. We need a letter signed by the commissioners to submit, each of us has to submit it into our grant. Normally, I type those up and bring them over. I don't know how you guys want to do it. Do you want me to send a sample over and have Jane type it? Do you want me to type it up? How do you want to handle that?
Whatever.
Do it same way you've been doing.
Yeah, just just
Okay,
type them up
I'll
and
give
send
it-
them over to Jane. And
Okay.
she'll let me know when to sign.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Judge, do you have something else?
I did have one other small thing that falls under the same heading, but is a totally different pot of money. Mr. Burgess has done excellent in his beginnings here, and one of the things that he is wanting to do and has found is that the Walmart Corporation's community grant fund is available possibly to us, and some of their categories fit what we do in drug court, and I believe you can get up to $5,000 for various things such as education and things of this nature. So we would like to put in for that. There's no matching funds for that. It's just you put in why you think you need the money, and we have lots and lots of good reasons why we need the money. And try to get that Walmart Community Foundation grant. And I'd just like permission to go ahead and put in for that at our discretion and try to get as much as we can.
Diana, will that be a grant that will go through your office as well, or?
I'll work with Brandon on it. Yes.
Okay, all right.
Do we need to vote on it?
I think so.
Or? Okay, I'll move it, we
Allow
let them go ahead and fight for one more grant.
I'll second the motion.
it. Motion made and seconded. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes.
Thank you.
Kelly from 911.
Hello.
How are you?
Really good. How are you guys?
Good.
I'm here to ask for 144 for a part-time girl that I've got currently training. I just put her into training last week. Actually, I hired her a day after the last meeting, so I kind of was late on the draw with that. She has 2 years of experience, so that's a plus. She's picked up already immensely on the equipment and how we do our things, so I'm really happy with that. So I just need the 144 approval.
Name?
What's her name?
Oh, I'm sorry, Diana Potters is her name. She is originally from here, however, she had moved. Her experience comes from Lima, Ohio. But it's basically the same, you know, gamut that she's here with, so she's picking up pretty good, which is always a plus. The experience is always a plus.
I'll move to approve for 144 for Diane Potter.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the 144 request of Kelly's. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes.
Okay, thank you guys.
You're welcome.
Bill, do you have anything now? Okay. Michael?
The only thing I really have is I put that letter from BIS on your guys' tables. We got the new recorder for Superior Court in April of 2018. We have not had any problems with it. So I really don't think that we need to get this $1,200 service contract extension. They basically charge us $140 an hour if we call with a problem if we don't have a service contract. So is it really worth 9 hours when we haven't called them since we've gotten it installed? I just wanted to make sure that was okay with you guys on the board, just because, and I did talk to Judge Freed, he's fine with it. He sees the same thing, that we didn't budget for this, we didn't plan for this, and both of us really don't really see that we need it. We just wanted to have you guys aware of the decision and what the thought process was on it. So
I would assume that this is similar to any other maintenance agreement. We can do it at any given time. It just may cost us a little more
Yeah,
time, more money.
If we call them with a problem, it's $140 an hour.
Yeah.
And that doesn't include.
5 years down the road or 10 years down the road, we can still get a service agreement.
Yeah, since I've been here, almost 5 years now, we've called them for approximately 3 hours worth of help over the phone.
I'd say this is not worth it.
Yeah, I don't see it. And then, like, we're getting install Friday for the police department's interview room, same company, and they'll get service for a free service for a year if there are any questions or problems. But for the most part, they'll be installed, and then we won't have any problems for however long. So, but other than that, do you guys have any questions or anything for me?
So you're comfortable with being without this?
Yeah, I mean, I think we would, if we got into a position where we had to call them for help, I would be more comfortable paying for 5 hours of help at $140 an hour when we need it than paying $1,200 now and not
needing
necessarily
them at
calling
all.
them.
They're using well.
So, but we've gone 5 years without any help in the circuit court other than the money we have spent. We called and we were trying to get the remote video conference function working on the existing equipment that we have, and we couldn't get it working. It was more of a hardware compatibility issue. So, which isn't something you can fix over the phone, at least not yet. They can't shove a piece of hardware through the phone yet.
Right, yeah.
So,
Well, I think I would entertain a motion to take Michael's recommendations and not utilize the. Okay. Is there a second?
I didn't hear all what he said. I'll second it. I got to rely on your judgment on these things. You're our in-house expert on this
Well,
stuff.
that's why.
Yeah,
Yeah. But I think we need something officially to back him up on.
sure.
Then we can blame it later.
Well, Michael said not to do it.
and part of the reason I wanted to bring it up is if you guys did say that you would prefer to do it, even though I don't necessarily think we need it, I would rather that be the option
Yeah.
you have to say to go ahead and do it. So,
Been motion made and seconded to take Michael's recommendations on this service contract and not utilize it at this time. Is there any questions for Michael? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes.
and then the only other thing is I'm still getting the computers installed that I got at the beginning of the year for the clerk and courts. I only got 6 of those left, and so far they're working well. And then I've got the corrections server on the new hard drive. It's been running for a day and a half now. Before I try to move them back onto that off the temporary thing I've got set up, I'm going to let it go for about a week and stress test it before I start throwing them back on there. But at least it's running, unlike last week where it kept crashing on me. So, but it's kind of where we're at. So,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Jay, anything today? Okay. Bill Gray,
Gentlemen,
how are you, sir?
everything's fine, Dale. All the coils and everything are in, running, everything's done over there. The sheriff called me and asked me if I would come over and give Dale some bad news. The gate barrier out here that stops the people from coming through is it's gone, and it can't be replaced. Or it has to be replaced, it can't be repaired. They came down, got a bill for $150 to come down and tell me it wasn't no good. To replace it is $3,671 for a new gate. And I think it's probably important to do it. We've had a couple incidents where inmates were almost hit from people coming down through there as the officers were bringing them across the street. So I think it's probably...
What was that cost?
Yeah, the cost was $3,671. He said you had a copy of it. You guys have a copy?
Yeah, I've got a copy of it. It's
Okay.
in the office.
I think I got an email on it, I think.
Yeah.
Is there other, I'm sure there's some other companies out there so we can keep them honest.
Well, you know, these are the people we've dealt with all along. I can try to get some more bids. I don't know of any companies that do barriers. I could probably call around and find out.
What about CEI? Would they have an outlet for something?
I don't know. I can talk to Ron and see. Before you make a decision, I can. If that's what you want to do.
I mean, temporarily, we can put, during court time, we can
Just
put
park the
barricades.
car there.
Park a truck there or something.
Or park
Yeah.
vehicles.
Yeah, because it's, well, court's every day, so you'd have to have one sitting there.
I mean, during court hours. I
Yeah.
mean, at least during the court hours, just shut it off. I mean, the school corporation's shutting Grand Avenue off, so.
You're right.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah, I can
We-
get over
we-
Ron.
we chuckle
at
about
least
it,
get-
but-
At least get one more idea.
Yeah.
Get over Ron, have him, I don't know if he has an outlet for that or not, but I'll check around and see what I can find out.
Okay. It'd sure be nice to at least get one more quote, I mean,
Okay.
for that kind of money.
We can
Yeah.
put an old farm gate up there, it'd be a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
$100.
And I can get
Chain and lock.
a push button opener for it
Yeah.
for another 100, so.
Okay, guys. I will check and see what I can come up with, and I hate to wait for another meeting, though, that's the deal. The longer we wait, the worse it's.
That's why I said, I'm
Have to
thinking
take one
that
in.
Daryl could get you some barricades from the street department. You don't have any single barricades, do you?
Yeah.
Bring one up.
I can move the barrel there with a sign off if he wants.
That's okay.
Well,
Yeah, we need to at least do something until we can get a gate, until we can get it at bid to replace those gates.
I mean, even if you bring it up here where they walk across the road, street,
Yeah.
so that deputies can still get in and out,
Yeah.
it won't be so inconvenient for them. But like I said, the school corporation's blocking off Grand Avenue on a daily basis, so.
The deal with the courts, see, they're all day long. You never know what time they're gonna bring those in.
Well, that's why I say if you move that barricade up
Yeah.
where the deputies can get in and out still,
Yeah.
they don't have to worry about moving it. If you just block off the walkway, crosswalk area.
Yeah. And bring me some barricades up, I'll get in trouble. Okay.
Get in trouble.
Yeah, I'll get in trouble for putting them up there.
I'm sure somebody will complain.
Oh, I know
but,
they will.
You know, this is a poor man's way of fixing things temporarily.
We gotta do what we gotta do. Okay, I'll take care of it, I'll just get a hold of somebody. If CEI can't do it, I'll see if I can find somebody else that does barrier work.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who that might be, but I can't think right off
I
the top
don't
of
know
my head.
anybody. I mean, like I say, I've dealt with these guys ever since that gate was put in,
Mhm.
but I'm sure I'll call around and find out.
Okay.
Okay?
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks.
Lisa, you have some 144 request
Yeah.
today?
Okay, I'm here today to ask, about a month ago, I asked for the commissioners to approve Lisa Becker as a part-time employee. I am asking, she's doing very well, and I have a full-time position still in my office that I need to fill. So I am asking for permission to move her from part-time to full-time. In doing so, I'm going to have another part-time position open in my office. And I'm going to ask for the commissioners to approve Brenda Bennett to be hired as a part-time employee. She's from Fayette County. She's 67 years old. I don't know if she wanted me to say that, but she told me that. So, she's just retired, looking for something to do. She's very knowledgeable in data processing, and she will be records management kind of thing, working with voting, working with scanning in records, that kind of thing. Basically doing what Lisa's doing now, and then Lisa will move to my old position.
And will that put you at full staff?
That puts me at full staff.
So the vacant full-time position is your old position?
The vacant full-time position is my old position, yeah. Yes. She's doing very well in the part-time position. So I think she would be an asset for us as a full-time.
So in reality, there'll be two 144.
Yeah.
Should put both on the same,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve the 144 request for the clerk's office and to move the current
Full-time.
part-timer to a
Part-time.
full-time position.
Hardly part-time.
Yeah, and approve the 144 for the
Part-time.
the vacant
I'll
part-time
second it.
position.
Motion made and seconded that we approve the 144 requests, plural, of Lisa Witz. Is there any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes.
Thank you, Commissioners.
All right. I think that's all the department heads. Jeff, do you have anything for us?
I don't believe so, not tonight.
Okay, all right. Mail. Is there anything that needs to be brought before the commissioners? Do you have- Well, I thought I had it. Here. Tort claim I got in the mail. I'd like to give that to Jeff to look at, and look over. So. Old business? Any old business? Jay, do you have any?
Under old business, let me see if I've got anything in my notes. Got a whole pocket full of these. 2 weeks ago, we discussed about whether or not to bid insurance or not.
Mm-hmm.
I know that the calendar may have already run out on the opportunity to do that, so I've been asked to inquire about this. Again, we did agree to bring it up again this meeting. So, what do you fellows think? Do you want to, if there's time to do it this year, do you want to do it? Or if not, do you want to run it out to next year? And I'm not sure there is time. If it's a 45-day process, do it.
I would just want to try it next year. It'd be the best thing. That's what I'm doing.
But if we do, you know, we'll have to take bids from anywhere and everywhere. But we have had one local insurance agency has asked for the opportunity to bid. So, you know, and I explained, you know, it would be open to the world, and they totally understand that. But I know that the auditor's office has not been able to prepare the information that they would need to start this process.
Get June's 2 cents worth.
It's been a long time since I've been involved in it, so I can't remember the time, but I do know it takes extra time through the auditor's office, but how much, I'm not sure. I guess my concern, number one, if we had an insurance, if our insurance company, current insurance company had been, if we'd been experiencing rate increases at all, I guess I would agree that if we've been experiencing claim problems and issues with our claims and the current insurance company not carrying those claims out properly, I would say definitely yes, but both of those are not the case. Our current insurance company has given us a savings over the last 2 years. Have they not?
Sure.
It's been at least
Yeah.
1 year, and I think it's been 2 years worth of savings. Our premiums have actually went down. And Wilson Lawson is a very good company to work with. I mean, they've been very efficient with their claim process, and
I'm not suggesting they're not at all. You know, this is
so
just, this is in response to an official request that I got on this deal.
yeah, and I understand that, and that I guess that's my response as far as wanting to look for a different, for bidding out, but I'll certainly stand with the wishes of the board.
Well, like I said, I don't know. I just looked at the calendar today, and if it's a 45-day process, the way they explained it, the clock has already run out on it.
Is it May 1st or
I think so.
middle of May? I can't remember when it is. I just know it's in May.
But I was not including the time it would take for us here to get the information together.
For them.
Since our,
And I don't know how long that would take.
since our time has ran out on it this year, why don't we just table it until later on in the year, sometime before the next cycle will come in? But we could do.
Well, if it's something we're gonna do, we need to be better prepared than we are today, that's for sure.
We'd be tossing out there not knowing.
Is there
I just-
Is there a motion to table?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, if you want to table, we'll table it, and I'll second his motion to table. And we'll address this in a more prepared way
Yeah.
next time.
motion made to table the issue on bidding out our liability insurance? Is there any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. Anything else, Dale, under old business? Your
No, I'm
notes?
going to do you a favor, and not bring up anything else today.
You're not?
No.
Get it after.
Dale.
Okay. We'll move on to new business. Diana, you have something with NDOT?
I'll give it to you. Sign. Fayette County Public Transit was awarded a grant to purchase 2 new low-floor minivans. Those vans, they've called and said they are ready. And we have the invoice. The invoice was $72,656. We were awarded $57,600. So the Fayette Community Council on Aging and Aged will put in $15,056 for match to purchase the 2 new vehicles. And I just need approval for the claim and the commissioners to sign.
I'm going to approve the claim.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the claim. Is there any other questions? Diane, I just noticed these are both Dodge vans.
Yes.
Is there a reason why we couldn't have gotten them through Reedman's or?
We don't, they're a specialized van with special equipment. We get it on a state purchasing plan. They actually purchase the vehicles. They have to go up, before we can even pick these vehicles up, NDOT will go up and inspect them, make sure everything's how they're supposed to be, because they're, like I said, specialized for handicap accessibility and things.
Okay. Is there any other questions for Diane? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. You just need one.
Thanks for all your work, Diane. We appreciate
Oh,
it.
you're welcome.
I don't see how you keep it all straight.
Some days I don't.
You don't need this signed by us, do you?
No.
You just need the one signature?
And Lily, yes.
I reckon you want your ink pen back.
Thank you.
Thanks, Diana.
You're welcome.
Oh, wait a minute. You'll be having to come back over.
Thank you.
Farmers Market representative?
Hello, I'm Becky Marvel. I work for the Purdue Extension Nutrition Education Program. I'm here to represent the Fayette County Farmers Market. We're going to be starting our 4th season this summer. This last year we had over 5,000 people come downtown. The farmer's market is under the umbrella of Discover Connersville, and what I'm asking today is the permission to use the lot facing central where we've set up. So we were just seeking permission to have the farmer's market again here
Do you have those
downtown.
the beginning date, ending date?
I'm sorry, May 4th through September 28th from 8 to 12.
May 4th through September 8th?
28.
28.
Yeah, or if we run out of produce, we'll close up earlier than that.
From 8 to 12?
Yes, sir.
How many,
How many booths?
how many
Vendors?
on the average vendors did you have this last year?
We had 30 vendors signed up, so it was really unique. And then we also, so my part from the nutrition education program, I wrote several grants that is helping low-income families. We have a program through Reed Health called Fresh Up Bucks, where it doubles people's food stamps so they can have access to healthier food. We also did a mobile market. We went to Fountain Place and we helped senior citizens there. I helped them get a grant, a program called Fresh Produce for Seniors and WIC, and it brings $2,000 into the community. It helps our agricultural, our farmers. We also have artisans, so it's just trying to promote local things that are grown and made here. So it's a great business incubator. We've actually had a couple people who have started out the farmers market start their own business. They now have their own brick and mortar. So it's a great way to bring people downtown. We've really noticed people make that their event to come down Saturday morning, and neighbors are starting to get to know each other. So I appreciate what the county and the city has done to allow us to be here. So I hope that we can have, again, this next year.
I got a question.
Yes.
Can our animal shelter get a free space down there to,
Can what, I'm sorry?
the animal shelter get a space down there to bring their dogs down and let people see them and stuff?
Yeah, we had actually a pet day, and we encouraged people. We had Puppy Love 4-H Club. They came and did demonstrations, and I had the animal shelter come and bring their dogs and to see if people want to adopt it. Yeah, and any nonprofit that is just there to do educational program, there's no fee to that, and we encourage that. So, yeah, we would love to have that.
Thank you.
So the 30 vendors, has that grown? Have you seen that grow, or has it been pretty stable, or?
I'm going to say yes and no, because we've gotten different vendors each year.
Okay.
And they're just not from Fayette County. Any county that touches Fayette County can come.
Okay.
Vendors. Like I said, we've had some vendors now who have gotten so much business they can't even come to the market because now they have started their own
They
business.
had the wood carvers down there and they was pretty good.
Yes, we have a local
was.
wood carver now. We found out in Franklin County that comes up. So we have world-class cheese. I think it's great that's made here. So it's a great way for people to have access to healthier food, which is going to help our overall health situation that we have here
Right.
in the county. So.
Okay. I appreciate it. I entertain a motion to,
So they need permission, permission to use our part of the
Yes, sir.
property here?
Yes.
I'll move to allow the farmer's market to use county property for farmer's market from May 4 to September 28.
I'll second.
motion made and seconded to allow the farmer's market to utilize county property here around the courthouse. Is there any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes.
Thank you. I hope
Thank
to see
you.
you at the market.
Thank you. Is Corinne here?
Oh, she's hiding back there.
I only have one print off. I apologize if you guys don't mind sharing. Good afternoon. My name's Corinne Westerfield. I'm here for the Fayette County Tourism Board. Wanted to come in front of you today on something that we are working on for Fayette County. First off, we are really privileged and honored to help create tourism for Fayette County. In the last year and a half, all of our board members have been working really hard on different programs and bringing money to our community. Today, what we are asking for is requesting permission to buy the domain name, copyright, and trademark to Fayette County to make it a geocaching center. The cost of all these will be below $500, and the funds will be taken from the tourism funds. Of course, there's always that one thing, what do you need from the commissioners? And what we would like to ask you was if we could have our county resources to allow us to make road signs to be placed at all major entrances into the county.
Say that last part again.
On behalf of the Fayette County Commissioners, what we would like to ask for the tourism board is if we could use our county resources and allow us to make road signs to be placed at all major entries into the county.
Oh, road signs, okay.
On the state highways or all county roads that, at
On
the
all like
county
our
line?
major entrances, they would be considered informational. I want to say, Jay, is that brown and white for the signs for information?
I think that's what it is, I'm not sure.
Yeah, we're not wanting anything famous, just regular informational signs that you
So
would
you'll have
place
to
on the
have
roads.
state permits to do that, because it'll be on state highways.
Is that a state permit if we do it on state highway, or is that county for 121?
If you put it in the city limits, I think you can get by with it.
Okay,
I'm not sure.
so that would be something to check then, but more than anything, to utilize the county's resources for the signs
But
to
that-
help save money.
Jeff, won't that be an NDOT?
It will be an NDOT issue. In my experience, if you put them up, they'll just take them down.
Yeah, they'll
Okay.
take them down.
So we would have to look at the city.
I'm not familiar if getting it, his experience is probably much more vast than mine.
Absolutely.
I've got a book down there that says whether or not you can do it or not, I'll look at it and see.
I think that would be an avenue we'd have to
Okay,
address.
absolutely. I'm more than happy to come back on, check on that matter. We would just like to be able to go forward with the permission to start buying the information on the domain name and copyright and trademark out of tourism board funds only.
Now, if you was telling me about this a few
Geocaching?
days ago,
Mhm.
and if we do, will we have the distinction of being the geocaching capital? What
Yeah,
is that?
we would be buying a trade, right, so that we could make ourselves a geocaching center.
What is it?
A geocaching?
Yeah.
Geocaching is really a popular trend right now. We are actually a sponsorship onto the website itself. It's got 15 million users worldwide. Geocaching, people create vacations around this. They tour all over the United States to go see this, go across states to be able to participate in. And what it is we probably have over 150 alone in Fayette County right now, if you weren't aware of it. But what it is, you go onto the app itself and you find out coordinates where a geocache is. And once you get the coordinates, it'll help you find it and gives you a clue of what you're looking for. In geocache world, the first rule is do no harm. You know, it should be laying out, easy to access, usually with a simple hint of what to look for, kind of like the I Spy game. Once you find the geocache itself, you open it up. There's a list of information that is tracked to that website that you enter those coordinates that you say you found it. And you can do multiple things like create tours with it, tournaments. I mean, it's its own entity, and it's the fact that right now in Fayette County, we have over 175 geocaches last year that were visited throughout the year from people outside of Fayette County that came, signed it. And one day alone, over 3 people found 50 geocaches. So we have to ask ourselves, when they were here, did they buy anything? Did they sit at one of our restaurants and eat food? Are we losing tourism in the sense of bringing all these people to find geocaches that people don't even realize they're doing, instead of utilizing our community and our funds and our businesses to make money while they're here? And this could also open up an avenue of our nonprofits in the community having fundraisers. And the whole point is to bring people from outside in to make money instead of draining our funds locally, which we do have a bit of an issue with because fundraising is hard here. So this is something that we feel like will create not only revenue, but will create more projects and things for our nonprofit groups to get involved with.
In other words, it's
Scavenger game.
It's just a fun time. It's a good, healthy thing to get out with family and friends to go find these things and
I'd say it's
participate.
okay with the lawyer, it's okay with me.
It's not my decision on funding.
Actually, we don't need funds. We just need permission to be able to do that on the county's behalf.
I'll move to allow the tourism board to go ahead and purchase the domain name.
Copyright and trademark.
Copyright and all that for the geocaching center, the US or whatever.
Yep.
I'll second it.
Motion made and properly second that we allow the tourism board to proceed on with this. Are there any questions? Is this something that you're gonna have to hire someone to do
No,
outside?
sir. No, we can maintain everything on the site itself from the tourism board, and it will always belong to the tourism board.
And I was gonna suggest that if we had to go outside to do it, maybe it's something that Michael could do, help us with.
I am
to
all
get it
about
set
keeping
up.
things local in our community, 100%.
Okay. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes.
And the only other thing I want to say is you guys have placed us with the great responsibility of having a bicentennial event for you guys, or for Fayette County residents, here in May. We are working really hard for that. We've had you guys possibly give us the $20,000 from the county to be utilized for the event, and we thank you so much for that. And we also know that we have the other task of not just keeping the Indiana tax code on how that money is spent properly, but we also have public funds now coming in for sponsorship, and we have to be responsible for that to make sure that nothing's misled nor misrepresented on how those funds were spent. And we are really excited about having a wonderful bicentennial to celebrate our 200 years of Fayette County. So thank you for that opportunity. We really do appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I have kept in touch with some of the folks that's been involved with the planning of it, and I must commend them on the hours that they've put into it thus far, and I greatly appreciate that input that they've done thus far.
Thank you, Gary. Appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
Okay, we have Don here today. Collins, he's a resident on Gray Road.
Yeah, Gray Road.
Yep.
Across from Ziegler.
Yeah.
We live on Gray Road across from Ziegler. My wife and I. February 2nd, our house got ran into by a guy that ran a stop sign. It was slick that morning. Hit our house. We're up to $45,000 worth of damage. The best part is our worst part was our grandkids were sleeping in that bedroom. They were there to spend the weekend with us. The best part was nobody was hurt, thank goodness, due to the fact that it's a brick house and it was built good. This is kind of the last straw. We've lived there 10 years. We've had at least 8 other incidents that we know of. That's where the school bus flipped over. Last fall we had a guy come down the hill and pull a trailer. He said he lost his brakes, came out in the intersection, hit a van head on. 2 years ago in February, we had a girl come down the hill. She just wasn't paying attention. Probably put her brakes on, stop sign, came across, hit the telephone pole head on. I've got pictures of all this if you guys want to look at them.
Yeah.
Basically, the intersection's really dangerous. We have a lawn care business. Our sign's been wiped out twice, and it's 16 foot off the road. I didn't get all of them. There's a telephone pole.
They scanned it up.
Yeah. She hit it for a ton. She totaled out her vehicle. Everything's happened there. It's been totaled out. They're not. The guy that hit our house. That's when the school bus flipped over. The guy that hit our house, he totaled out his car.
Wall damage inside the house.
That's the room that the kids were in. It missed where that crack is at. My grandson's head was 6 inches from that crack. That's the outside of the house. And like I said, we're just lucky that the house was built really well. The stop sign at the bottom of the hill sits about 20 foot off the road. And there's another one where he came through. He actually went airborne when he hit the curb.
Okay, I see that one with the stop sign again,
There used to be markings at the end of the road that actually said stop. That's the only thing left. It just says only. We've had people drag race up the road. It's really kind of aggravating because I went to every police agency in this county or in the state and said, hey, you need to put somebody out there. And everybody always says the same thing. It's we're short-handed and can't do it. But it's more like an interstate than it is a road.
So many feet off the road.
it looks to me like it ought to be.
Well, what do you want? You want a guardrail or something? put
Well,
up
I'm gonna
there?
do something on my property. I was told
To the east.
by somebody who has been through this before, that I have to watch what I'm doing, because if I put it on county,
I can get Danny to check it.
and if somebody runs into it, I can be sued. I had a civil lawyer tell me as long as I go back far enough on my property, I can do whatever I want, but I want some stuff done to the road. I mean, it's getting out of hand.
I'll check it.
Talk to the highway and the surveyor and see what we can come up with.
I've asked Jay to check on the stop sign as far as NDOT regulations. Check the site availability.
From the top of the hill.
From the top of the hill to see if you can see the stop sign, number one. Also, I wondered, after I saw that you were on the agenda and Jane kind of let me know a little bit of what you were doing or here requesting, I wondered what would it cost us just to put rumble strips up the
I
hill?
can check into it and see.
To
I know
grind,
there's some
where they
that
grind.
glue down, but they don't last.
No, the
When
grinding.
you plow, yeah, when you plow the road, they don't last.
No, you plow them off.
Yeah,
But
I can see.
But most of these intersections now, they're actually grinding
Like
them.
the state's got in the middle of the road and on the sides, what you
Yeah,
want.
yeah.
Yeah. I can check on.
But, I mean, there's, as far as intersections and houses sitting in front of intersections, they're everywhere.
Yeah, and nobody else has that kind of trouble we have.
You know,
And that's just because people treat that road like an
Well,
interstate. That's the
They
nicest road.
fly over top of that hill. They
Yeah.
don't slow down when they come to the top of that hill.
And then their story always is, we lost our brakes, well, we put the brakes on at the stop sign. You know, that guy that hit our house, he went almost 100, I think
I don't remember
115
what's the
feet.
sign there,
Yeah,
so.
I seen it that morning after it happened.
Jay, is there a sign on the east of this thing that says, I see a sign up there.
I think
on
that's a
the
stop
road.
ahead sign. I think that's a stop ahead
Stop
sign
ahead.
up there, but I'd have to look at it and make sure, but I'm pretty sure there's one there.
They don't pay no attention to signs. Put a rumble strip
They
in
don't?
there.
One other remedy, and they're becoming more and more popular, and I don't know what the cost of them is, but have you seen the solar lit stop signs that actually have a red dot that goes around them?
I saw them the other day in Rushville.
Yeah,
Right, that's the only way but it's, I was looking into them, and they're becoming very popular everywhere. They definitely get your attention. It
Well,
feels-
even, they're lighting up the posts and everything else anymore, put more reflective stuff on it from what we use.
But I was impressed with those stop signs at the four-way stop there.
And they're all
Rushville.
solar powered, so I mean, I
Yeah,
think
they're
it's.
solar powered, so you could put them anywhere. So maybe that's something you and Danny could look into as far as, okay,
I'll
what's
get him
that?
to check with his supplier and see
Yeah,
what he can get them for. So I can do.
I just say go ahead and get one instead of you worrying about what it's costing.
Yeah,
Okay.
but make sure the stop sign's in the right place too.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll measure it, make sure it's all where it's
But I'd really like for us to look at the cost of grinding rumble strips down through there.
Thanks, Gary.
Well, I mean,
I'd say
it's not
take whatever was
it's not gonna
necessary to
fix
stop.
all the dummies.
No.
Pardon my language,
Yeah.
but.
Well,
what
you
it
can
is.
go up there and see where they spun around the road and
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
else, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we've had people drag race going up the hill.
Oh, yeah.
In broad daylight. I mean, it's not like it's
Well,
of night,
it's
you know.
not a problem going up the hill, it's a problem when they're coming down.
Yeah,
the
but
hill.
that's like, you know, but they'll line up at my house, you know, and,
So, do you run the tree for them, or?
no, they wouldn't want me to do that. There's other things I'd like to run for them.
Yeah.
But, you know, we just gotta do something. I mean, you know, my house getting hit was, and I've had several people ask me, you know, aren't you scared when you're out cleaning your driveway off? And I used to worry about it anymore. I'm just, you know, if I get killed, I get killed, you know.
Well, we have another situation right out here on 200 West. I think it's 200. Yeah, 200 West. The T road right north of Harrisburg.
Yeah.
We issued a building permit and let them build a house right in the intersection. You know, and got the same situation. The house is right there along the road. Now they did put trees up to
Yeah, but it
kind
takes
of
a lot
block.
of a tree to get big enough to stop somebody.
Well, these were fast-growing evergreens, and they're pretty good size, but they'll still get knocked over if a big enough vehicle hits them. But that's just, I mean, there's situations like that all over the county that we have situations like
I'll
that.
tell you, years ago, there was a guy out where Louis, he used to get his mailbox knocked down. He put punji sticks up and it stopped it.
Yeah.
Is the county interested in putting up a guardrail for me on my property,
Yep.
or?
I would say we are. Anything to protect his house. That's our job, is to protect their.
Do we have some guardrail down there?
I'm not sure how much we got. I'd have to check.
Why don't we look into it and see? That was gonna be my first suggestion, but I couldn't imagine you wanting guardrail in front of your house.
Well, I'll beautify it, don't worry, I'll paint it.
Paint it pretty or something.
I'll put flowers around it or
Paint
something.
American flag on it.
But I'm gonna put, I've got a friend down Laurel that's got a rock quarry, and I'm gonna get a great big rock off them. And I didn't bring a picture with it. If there's a tree and then our driveway, I'm gonna put that big rock between the two, so you either got to hit the tree, the rock, or the cars. And then I'm putting 4 big rocks along the side of the house after we get it fixed.
You wanna make sure you keep that rock out of the county's right away.
Yeah, it's gonna be back in my yard.
Yeah.
It's gonna be kind of an eyesore, but I can't have this, we were lucky this time, we may not be lucky next time.
Well, that's true. But I definitely agree with Mark as far as the stop sign. If you can get that solar, because I'm telling you what, those over in Rushville,
They're hard to miss.
it's hard to miss. And,
I like the rocks myself.
and then
I
if you
definitely
can
do.
check with whomever, a company that can do that grinding and see what kind of cost is involved in going up that hill.
I can count on something happening then.
So Jay is committed to
I'd
work
say
with you on this.
Get Jay and
And
Larry to work with you.
if he's willing to have guardrail out there, I guess if we've got some
I'd see how
guardrail.
much we got. I think we got some bits and pieces down there, but I don't think we got anything worth putting up. So they haven't bought it in a while, but I know it.
So we'll have to look at the cost of that.
Had some.
So
selling
between the
down front.
rumble strips and the guardrail, if you could get some costs together and bring back to us on it.
Could you put a big stop sign up? I mean, I don't know how big a stop sign you can put up, but I really like to have as big a one as I can get.
I think we're limited to what NDOT lets us put up, but.
I don't know how it works, but,
I don't think there's anything against putting 2, one on each side of the road, is there, Jay?
I don't think there is. If we're not paying attention to one, they're not gonna pay attention to two.
They're not gonna pay attention to 2. That's the only
bad
problem.
thing about it.
My biggest concern is sight
Yeah, I'll check that and make sure you can see it real good from top of that hill.
and whether it's in the right location or
Yeah.
not to meet the NDOT DOT standards, requirements, so,
And I'll make sure that's a stop ahead sign up at the top of that hill too.
yeah.
can you say stop on the road?
Have you
Like
talked
it
with
used-
Joey?
Like it used to be. I used to
Yeah.
say stop on the road.
It'd help.
Have you spoke with Joey? Our sheriff?
No.
I would suggest that you spend a little bit of time with our sheriff, because that is outside, that's outside city limits, isn't it?
It's right on the edge.
Borderline.
And maybe you could give him some times of where a lot of the speed is worse, that maybe he could have a deputy out there to kind of patrol it a little bit more. I know they used to do the bypass from 121 over to 1 quite a bit, but whether they do anymore or not, I'm not sure, but maybe, because Joey's an elected official himself, so, we can request, but that's all we can do with it. And maybe you'd have more input with it on him, with him. Maybe he could get some deputies out there at certain times of the day to do a little more patrolling.
I asked before, they told me they only had 1 road deputy, and,
Well,
like I said, I've asked every agency in the county to help me,
So as far as our responsibility, let's see if let's address that stop sign
Yeah, we'll do that.
and then,
Check on grinding the road.
and check on cost, do some measuring out there when you go out to look at the stop sign for guardrail and look into the cost of that, and then we'll go from there.
Well, thanks, I appreciate it.
You want-
No problem, Don. Thank you.
Thanks.
Uh-huh. Is there anything else for the commissioners?
I have nothing else.
Hmm?
The mowing contract for the cemetery?
Oh, okay.
I'd refer them on to the cemetery department.
Look, it was right above the Pledge of Allegiance.
It wasn't in red.
It was too.
It wasn't in red.
There.
Right there, bid.
Oh,
Wasn't
you
in
put
red.
it in dark. Well, we don't have a color printer, so it can't be in red.
That's what I need, the color printer.
We have bids for the cemetery. Two
Just do.
received.
You can afford a better knife than that.
They'll get back to you.
Normally I carry a razor blade.
Get away from me.
I didn't figure they allowed me to carry something like that in here.
I want, oh, no,
It's not much better than a case. It just needs somebody to open it, or sharpen it once in a while. See, I should have let you
That
open
thing
that
is
one in
getting
the
sharp
first
when you
place.
cut yourself.
The first one is from Corey's Lawn Care LLC. The second one is from Lawn and Order. Corey's bid is for $23,500. And Lawn and Order's bid is for $23,530. Wow.
I believe we ought to refer this over to the cemetery department.
Yes, I
I
would agree
I'll
with
move
that.
to refer this to the cemetery department.
Were they supposed to present a letter of liability? In that bid?
That was part of the requirement or
Well, Corey has. Lawn and Order has not included it, so we may need that. But their bid sheet does state, Lawn and Order does state that 21 properties. Corey's only lists 20. So it would be something that I would agree that
So you want to let the cemetery commission?
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
In the past, Corey's voluntarily done one of them, so that may be the difference between the 20 and 20.
Might be. All the more reason the cemetery board ought to look it over.
They know what they're doing.
You want the cemetery commission to review them and
Yeah.
make a recommendation?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll second your motion. Let the cemetery commission review these mowing contract bids and make a recommendation to us.
Motion made and seconded that we table these and refer them to the cemetery commission to look them over and give their recommendations to the commissioners. Is there any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. Now, did I get it all?
I'll move to approve the claims and payroll.
Motion made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the claims and payroll. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. We'll go ahead and sign that stuff. that needs to be signed, just that one
Yes.
folder?
Yes. These are the treasurer's reports, the 47 TRs.
Needs to be
Yes, one's January, one's February.
for each one of us, or?
If you want to see them, I need one of them back.
What do you mean you need one of them?
There's only 3 in January.
I thought you were supposed to bring film to each meeting. Isn't that your rules?
Well, I thought the treasurer was supposed to give me 4. I did. So,
So there's, can I,
quit. Yes.
can I give
We can do it.
2 of these away then?
Yeah.
Well, how's come there's not?
There was 4 of February, but only 3 of January. I don't know why. I didn't realize until I got in.
Oh, wait a minute. This is, what's the date on these?
It's on the second page.
This is January. This one's January. These are copies, one for you and one for Mark. And which February's. These are the reports that we've supposed to been, here's another January.
These are reports that we're supposed to get on a regular basis?
Yes.
Okay. So this will be our first one.
So is this, wait a minute, maybe I'm getting the wrong thing.
You don't have to give it back.
Is this February?
Well, that's in January.
Oh, this is different than the January's I passed in.
I gave you on before the meeting. I'm sorry. She left them in my chair and I just brought them.
Maybe I give this to, here, let me have those back. I think that gives you everything. I think that's February back here. Maybe, I don't know.
February, leave the same.
All right. Is there anything else?
Is that all there is to some?
Yep. Short day on signatures.
I move to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion made, and seconded for adjournment. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. Thank you.